make me laugh every time.
Why?
You're over here like trying to move stuff, but do it very quietly.
I get yelled at if I make noise.
I know. Watch it. Watch it. That's not working very well. You can actually like put it in front of the camera. Is that the November zombie?
Yes. He's still around.
What is happening, everybody? Woo-woo! It's Sunday. I feel like it's a super lazy Sunday. Listen, guys.
Super lazy.
We're getting old. I'm Katy, by the way. This is Vikki.
And we're getting old.
AKA Victoria. AKA LVPinkPeacock. AKA my old lady.
Oh.
AKA
Great.
my fiance. No, but seriously, this is what happens every night. We're pretty much in bed by 9 o'clock. Now we're usually like watching a little TV or whatever, but
looking at our tablets, watching TV.
But we go to bed pretty early because we old.
11, like between 11 and 12.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
we go
that
to,
early.
we go to bed, and then we get up usually like around 6 in the morning, and then every once in a while we get real wild and crazy, and we go out. And
Until after midnight.
Yeah, last night we went out and we went out for dinner with our friends, and we went to see this awesome yacht rock band called Yachty by Nature. They're pretty awesome. I think they're from California.
They are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, super fun, by the way. So really, really fun band. So if you ever get a chance to see them, I'm sure they play in California all the time. I don't know where else they travel to. I'm sure they have a website, but they are very, very fun. But it's like literally I had a couple beers, you had a couple beers.
Over and dance our butts
off. And when I say a couple beers, I mean like 2.
Mm-hmm.
Drank some water, danced a whole lot, came home, went to bed at like 1 in the morning. And I get that it's like daylight savings time, so that kind of throws you off too. It's like you got the daylight savings time jet lag. But seriously, every time this happens, we go out maybe a couple hours later than we normally would. And it's like the next day, it's like I think we should just like call it old people hangover.
I think that's what it is. It's an old person hangover.
Yeah, because it's like it's not a hangover from too much alcohol. It's like I'm just tired because I did too much.
Because I did stuff.
I did a lot of stuff.
And I'm old. Man.
It's just ridiculous. Ooh, Violet Lemon says, OMG. Actually, let me get the comments over here. You guys are good luck. Just sold a jacket for $145.
Send some buyers my way.
Mm-hmm. Violet Lemon, otherwise known as, I like to call her the Violent Lemon. And I think of it like she's just like an old school, like 80s all girl punk band, Violent Lemon. But congrats. But yeah, anyway, so we had a lot of fun. We're just all tired out today. We're moving kind of slow. Okay.
Sluggish.
But it was a good time. It was for a good cause, otherwise known as us having fun.
It was fun.
Had a good time. Anyway, it's funny though, because I was just telling Vikki the other day about how when we were kids, my dad was all about Sundays being family day. Like Sunday was family day, and because it was family day, like we went to church and stuff, but we would be home by noon. Because it was family day, we couldn't go do stuff with our friends. We had to like stay home for family day. But then like he would watch football, and we would just kind of like do nothing. And if my sister was doing too much stuff throughout the week with her friends and she wanted to do something, he'd tell her, it was very common for him to tell her, no, you've been doing too much. And I never understood the whole you've been doing too much, except now I realize that he was
anything is too much. He was feeling old man.
Well, now I realize that he was probably at that time, he was probably like close to my age now. And he was just like maybe a little bit older. And now I know what doing too much means.
We're not hungover. We're old people hungover.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
2 beers over 5 hours from either of us is not going to make anybody
not actually hungover. Just like
but
tired.
Yeah, it's just exhausted. I'm just tired. Anyway.
Yeah. But yes, as Pacific 49 says, those pigtails make you look younger. Thanks. So I just need to get my own little pigtails, right?
No.
You want me to start? I can get like a...
I do think you look nice with long hair. I've seen pictures. You look cute with long hair, but I don't think pigtails.
No thanks. No thanks.
Nope.
No. Anyway, so it's Sunday live haul. We've got some numbers to crunch. We've got some sales we've had over the last week we want to show you some cool stuff that we've sold. And then we've got a little bit of a haul. It's kind of like the 3 segments of our Sunday show. I do want to say there's some, with everything that's been going on with like eBay and sales and stuff like that. I know there's still a lot of people out there struggling. My eBay sales were okay this last week, but I will say going through and trying to find some good highlights to show, it's like
it was rough.
I had like a few cool things. The best things I have, I actually sold on Etsy. But yeah, it was just kind of like, it's like I made a decent amount, but it was kind of like mediocre, slow going. And I don't know. And then I noticed, so I was doing my numbers and I noticed that on my eBay sales, 71% of my sales this last week were from promoted listings.
And mine was much lower than usual. Mine was a lot lower. So I don't think that it's just a weird.
Because I went to go look at, how, because I put it in my thing, like what my fees were or whatever. And it was like $100 for promoted listings on eBay. I was like, what? And I went and I looked and I'm like 71%. I did like the math, 71%.
The maths.
And then I looked at my Etsy and 100% of my sales were from ads, which is what they used to call promoted listings. Now they call it ads or advertising or whatever. 100% of my listings sold from somebody clicking on an ad. So that just tells me, like, yeah, I'm having to, I mean, for better or worse, I get the whole idea of like, it kind of sucks to have to, like, I did the maths. And when I looked at how much I spent overall for promoted listings and advertising, and then what I made overall gross, basically I spent an extra 6% this last week of my gross just on advertising. So
to get mediocre sales.
I mean, no, my numbers are okay. Here's the thing. My numbers are okay, but they're not Q4 okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So actually, like, you'll see my numbers and it looks par for the course of what I was doing, like a month ago, sort of. But like, it's the beginning of November now.
Yeah. My sales are off quite a bit. So my sales, last year in October, I did about right under $12,000 for the month of October in sales on eBay alone. This year, I did under 8,000, and it's still Q4. And I've been in this a very long time, and my sales go up every single year. They don't go down ever.
Well, and that was after this whole year of your numbers being way up over the previous year. So that adds to it. But Liquidation King LA says ads and promoted is the way the industry is going. It'll be the cost of doing business. Absolutely.
That's what I said too.
And that's why I say for better or for worse, because like, am I stoked about having to spend an extra 6% in order to get the sales that I got? Not really, but at the same time, like, that is the way it's going. And you have to find other ways to adjust, either through pricing, finding better items, making better listings.
We both have very high margins on our items. I mean, that's part of it. I do trending rate across the board. And Katy does what, 5%?
No, I do trending.
You do trending as well? Because I've been doing it for about a year. You must have just started not that long ago. So.
It definitely makes it tougher for any sellers that are like working on tighter margins. Like, it's hard. You can't add like you add another 6% of cost. If you're on super tight margins, that could be devastating. If you have big margins, if you work with bigger margins like we do, it makes it a little bit less painful to make those adjustments. But then you got to figure out, like, are there other ways that I could cut my costs? So I'm not doing that. And so, like, you're talking about, you're making kind of some big changes right now.
Yeah, I'm actually going to add shipping. I'm going to start charging for shipping on all of my items again.
Yeah.
It's definitely a mixed bag whether you want to do that or not. You have to figure out what works for you and for your business. But because shipping is so expensive lately, adding it into the cost of the item is not really doing much for me. And I've been doing free shipping for years. Ever since they started talking about free shipping, I've been doing free shipping. So, and that has worked for me, but I don't know that it's going to work for me going forward. So for me, I'm going to mix things up a little bit, and I'm going to start charging shipping. I'm just going to charge a flat shipping fee. All of my first class items, I think I'm going to charge $3.95. And all of my priority smaller items, I'm going to charge like $6.95 or $7.95. It's probably not even going to cover it either way across the board, but it's a little something. And I'd rather get a little something and have it seem reasonable to a buyer. I don't think it's going to deter anyone from buying. Yeah, HTK flippers, I charge shipping. I don't feel it's deterring anyone from buying. It really depends on your business model. Like I said, some people, I know several successful sellers that will never do free shipping, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to go back to charging it and see what works.
And I think this is a really good example of where everybody needs to figure out what works for them, and you need to try things out, try different things out. When I started selling a few years ago, like 4 years ago, like I was doing free shipping, and then I switched to charging for shipping, and then went back to free shipping, and now I still do free shipping, and I don't intend to change that. And part, a lot of that has to do with like nothing I ship, it costs me more than $8.92 to ship. So I would rather build it into the cost to get that extra bump in the search. By you doing free shipping, and like Etsy, they're very much going the way of free shipping, and it will affect your placement in the search. So for me, that's the way I do it. She does 30-day buyer paid returns. I do free returns. So it just depends on what works for you with what you sell.
I'm already not top rated plus anymore because I don't do free returns, and it cut down on my returns drastically, and it did not change my my shipping. I did not change my sales at all. So it is what it is. Here's what I'm going to do. And I don't sell a lot of, see, that's, you said it right there, tottable traits. I do not sell in super saturated markets for the most part. I'm not selling common everyday mall brands on most items. So it's not something I really need to concern myself with.
Right.
I think that my items are going to be unique enough that you're not going to find the exact item on the platform anyway.
Yeah.
So
and you know, and while like, okay, so clothing's super saturated, but I do sell like more collectible stuff like vintage streetwear, but that's a really popular market right now. And so for me, even if I might have something that nobody else has the exact same item, I want, if somebody's doing like a general search for certain types of things that I sell, I do want that extra little bump. So again, and the same thing with ads, like, you know, the one thing about having, you know, to do promoted listings and ads and stuff like that is that it adds an extra level of complication to what being a good seller is all about. And it's just like one more layer of like, okay, now you got to figure out like, how do you want to do your ads? Do you want to do promoted listings at trending rates? Do you want to do it below? Do you want to do it above? On Etsy, do you want it like, what do you want your budget to be? How many clicks? You know, it's like there's so much more to it that you kind of have to figure out. So yeah, welcome to the complicated world of being a reseller.
Marrakesh asked a question. We're going to get to our numbers in 2 seconds. I'm just going to answer this one last question for now. How do you handle local pickup through eBay? Few sellers address it. You just put local pickup as your, if it's something large, are you only selling local pickup for that item, or did someone contact you and they want to pick it up locally? There's the difference there. So if it's something really large that you don't want to ship and package and you want to choose local pickup only, you create a business policy and you can go in and choose local pickup and create your parameters around that. Now, you are going to have to say that you accept PayPal for that local pickup. eBay does not allow you to create a listing without putting a payment acceptance of PayPal. But I will say that I don't accept PayPal on local pickup. If someone is picking something up from me, they are going to pay me in cash. So because there's no record of the transaction being completed, people, you know, if they pay through PayPal. So you just, and then you can just mark it shipped. There, you go into the item and you can mark it shipped. I have had people pay me PayPal and then I refund the payment and say we're going to do cash upon pickup. I always make it very clear in the listing, and there's nothing wrong with that. eBay is still getting their fees. They're getting their final value fee when the person chooses that they're buying something. So that's the way. I've been doing it that way for a long time. I've never had a problem doing it. People, I've heard it discussed in groups. People like take a copy of their driver's license and have them sign a waiver saying they picked it up, and take a photograph of them picking it up, and take a photograph of their license plate. Really, that's ridiculous. Not a single one of those things will stand up or count as proof of pickup for any reason whatsoever. So that's just creating craziness for no reason.
Before we get into the meat of our show, I would like to give a shout out to Victoria Smith, the lovely Victoria Smith, who I love. Was it last year that she gave us that? Why are you looking at me like that? I can't talk. It is. Are we going to get caught by the police for using her MLife card? No. So you're like giving me the look.
I don't know why you're putting it on the show anyway.
Like, because she's right there. I want to tell her we went. Okay. So no, I want to tell her we went to go. We went to go to see that show last night. And it just so happened there was like a big event happening. It was I think it was like a boxing match or something like that was happening because we were at the MGM, right by the MGM. Man, you're giving me like the eye. She gave me the big eyes like this, like, don't tell about the MLife card. Anyway, we went and we were gonna go park at MGM. We get there and it's like, oh, event pricing is like $15 to park, and I'm like, oh man, they're gonna charge us $15. we busted out that M Life card, Victoria Smith. Luckily, you have the same name, so you can be like, yes, I am Victoria.
I am.
Because they're going to make you show your regular ID and like pat you down and stuff, right? And then you're going to get arrested for using somebody else's M Life card.
So rude.
Anyway, we used the card and we didn't have to pay the event pricing. So that was pretty sweet. Saved $15. Did a little gambling using that card. Got some points back on that card for it. And then you won some money. So it was a good time.
It's true.
Yeah. We'll wait for you to get arrested later today when the authorities are called.
Okay. Jerk.
Anyway, all right. So, Dupage Pick Air, $5 super chat. Lucky show again. Just sold 2 items. Love your yacht duds last night. Oh, our outfits. I'm like, our duds. What were our duds? I guess that's what you call your fits, as they say in the streetwear world. Our fits. Yeah, we were loving it. It was fun.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Katy's Instagram, go to her stories from yesterday, and it should be up for the next few hours anyway. They're up for 24 hours. So.
You can watch some really terrible video with bad audio, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you can at least get a vibe for the band that we were watching. They were really,
it was fun.
Yeah, so for sure. Yeah, see, Brenda says there's probably somebody with a warrant at the door
seriously,
already.
Probably.
Oh, Connecticut girl wants me to finish the story about the tire blowout and me peeing in the bottle. Do you remember when that happened? Do you remember that?
I'm going to let you continue the show by yourself.
You don't want to? Do you want to tell the story? No. Okay, we got the tire. We got a new tire. It's all right, guys. But I did have to pee the bottle, so it was pretty exciting. She was like, we'll never speak of this again. Here's the problem, though. You tell me that, and then it's like I got to tell everybody about it because this is the reaction I get. So it makes it really fun. You ready for a nap? All right. I'm going to go, let me go ahead and share the screen. So we can show our numbers. I'll go first. Here we go. All right. I had 31 outgoing orders on eBay, 7 on Etsy. I had one day that was like crazy amazing on Etsy, and then it was a little slower in the other days, but whatever, I'll take it. So 38 total orders. My eBay gross was $1,736. My Etsy gross, $656.33. So my total gross over 2,000, which is always what I'm aiming for. I'd like to see a little better during fourth quarter, but $2,392.32. My shipping a little higher than normal, $264.42, and my promotion fees. Look at that. That's like 100 of that's from eBay. $153.43 promoted listing fees. And then I got my eBay and Etsy final value fees. My total cost $685.24. My cost of goods a little high, $285. So my total net sales after cost, $1,422.08. My gross average sale price, $62.96. So I'm pretty excited about that. I like to always keep it above $50, so I love over 60. And my net, though, as you can see all those costs in there, my net dropped down below 40, so $37.42. That was how my week looked. Would you like to talk about your week?
Sure.
But let me go ahead and make the screen bigger for those numbers. All right, next for you.
Mine is crap. Anyway, no, it's not crap. It just wasn't great. This is not a Q4 week. Anyway, I had 44 orders on eBay, 6 between Etsy, Amazon, and Bonanza. I did not have anything on Mercari this week, but I have not been listing many hard goods, so hasn't been a lot of new listings on there. So 50 total outgoing orders for $18.88 on eBay, $323.60 between the Etsy, Mercari, and Amazon.
Sorry, I changed it up here, Amazon Bonanza, but that's just okay. Amazon Bonanza.
Etsy, Bonanza, and Amazon for a total of $21.42 and change. My shipping was $298. I did have some heavy and international orders. My promoted listing fees were only $39. eBay final value fees, Etsy fees, total cost $661 and change, very close to yours. My cost of goods was lower, though, so my total net was $13.04 or $13.05.
You can see your gross average sale price. That's down.
It dropped almost $20. Yeah.
So it was like a decent volume week. It was an okay volume week, just lower prices on average.
Yeah, I was just accepting a lot of offers to try and get some motion going, and as I've been fixing my listings.
Yeah, I hear you. So I think that Deb and Mel have a very important question. They want to know if it was a wide mouth Gatorade Snapple type bottle or whatever.
It was a coffee cup. Can we move the frig on?
Yeah, guys, it was an ultimate insult to everything that Victoria believes in. It was a Dunkin' Donuts cup. Did it hurt when that was happening? Did it hurt your soul? All right. Are you are you ready to show some sales highlights? What do you think?
Sure.
Anything else? All right. Let's see. Let me go ahead and go back to this. You're up.
Okay, so this is a brand that I've talked about before. If Allison is still watching and not dead on the couch from the flu, by the way, I hope you feel better, honey. If Allison's still watching, I do talk about this a lot. This generally is a maker of women's pajamas, the modest flannel, high neck granny nightgowns. They sell very well. They're very well made, and they're really super warm. And you can find them cheaply. And I usually sell them for $40 to $50. This is a dress made by the same brand. Again, very modest. It's very Laura Ashley looking. Those that know, they'll know what I mean by that. And I paid about $5 for this dress. I took an offer for $55 because it went to Canada. So the buyer paid like $18 for shipping, and it cost me $9 and change.
I think I could pull this dress off. What do you think?
No.
No? All right. Okay. First one for me. So if you guys saw the haul video, I think I showed it in the haul video I still have not put up the sourcing video from Phoenix, so I'm probably in big trouble. But I had gotten 17 of these Champion reverse weave blank sweatshirts that were dead stock. 2 of them were XL, and the rest of them, the other 15 of them, were all 2XL. And I actually sold, it's not a huge sale. I took offers, but I sold both of the XL size for $40 a piece. But when I had bought those before, because of the particular one, it's not vintage, it's not a vintage reverse weave, I knew that I would probably sell them anywhere from $40 to $50 during fourth quarter. And so I was happy to get $40 on both of those. But so I've already started to make my money back on that little bit of spending I did, because I was really not sure if I should go ahead and buy all of them, because at first they thought they had like another 10, and I was contemplating if I should buy that many. But I think it's going to be a good move. So I was able to sell those. So nothing too crazy exciting, just a good return on my investment. Next.
So this is something I always talk about, looking in the fabric aisle, the blankets. I do sell a lot of blankets, and I love buying items from those aisles. This is an item that I picked up for about $6, and it sold for that price you see there, $90, $91. It's just this really thick, heavy, hand-stitched, hand-embroidered, table runner, blanket. I don't know what you want to call the darn thing. That's why I used every word under the sun as far as keywords. When I looked up something similar, I should say, when I was trying to find what it was, those are all the types of words that were working. So that's what I went with.
Very, very cool. I like it. All right, next one for me. I've had this for a while. The San Francisco 49ers down puffer jacket. It's not a starter jacket. It's Pro Player, which is not as good of a brand, or not as sought after of a brand as like Starter is, the vintage stuff. But it's a down jacket, and you can see it's an older one because it's got the old curtain background. But went ahead and accepted an offer for $95. And of course it was pretty light, so it didn't cost a whole lot to ship it. But $95, I'll take that any day. And I was just kind of like, any decent sale, I want to bring in the money, because I did have like a lot of lower price sales over the week. So next one for you.
This is one of those, I talk about knitting machines. I sell a lot of them. Every time I find knitting machines or pieces to knitting machines, I always sell them. This item I picked up for $5. It was on the shelf at Savers. I think I probably had it for about 3 or 4 months. It's not something that most people know what it is. You're not going to find a ton of listings for them, because when they are listed, they sell. So I don't know why it sat for a while, but it was one of the items that I had to fix this week. So it sold the day after I fixed it. So who knows how long it was buried or for what reason. But I had a buyer offer me $100, and it was on sale for $104.97. So I loved that. Very great offer. Yeah, sure, I'll take $4.97 off, right? So it's not that big. This is free shipping, but this item is very small. If you don't know what it is, you don't know what you're looking at as far as size, but it probably weighs about 3 pounds. And it may fit in a padded flat rate mailer, but I don't think so. It'll be like, but it will be like you know, an average size item. It probably cost about $6 or $7 to ship. Well, $7 to ship.
Yeah. Ooh, it got really tiny. Let me go like that. So Emily wants to know, with puffers, do I smush them down to ship? With all my jackets, I kind of like fold them in half and then I roll them because I never want to like just scrunch stuff up in a ball.
You know that they're not looking at you still have the share screen on right now, so they can't see.
No,
what
I'm
you're
right
doing.
there. See?
Teeny tiny though.
I'm right there. Okay, I'll make myself a little bit bigger. How about that? Anyway, I fold them in half and I roll them up, and it's easier to do with a down jacket because it's obviously a down, so it's all squishy. But yeah, for sure. All right, next one, this Wrangler Western denim trucker jacket. So I feel like the Wrangler stuff, people undersell it a lot. Like I've noticed that like it just a lot of times you see them selling for much lower prices than say like Levi's and stuff like that. And I really think that's just because people aren't pricing them high enough. I haven't had this jacket for all that long. I think I got it within the last month or so. It's just like a really cool vintage Western denim trucker jacket. It's got the blanket lining, the kind of wool blanket lining, and the corduroy collar. And I took an offer for $125, so it took like a month, and I sold it for $125. And I guarantee you'll see if you look up comps on these, you'll see them sell for like 50 and 60 bucks all the time. Because I don't know why. I'm not really sure like why people don't think that they can sell them for more. But this style is just, it's a really nice dark wash, and I don't know, it's a cool jacket.
It is a nice jacket.
Next for you.
So these I've had for quite a while. I think I've had these for at least a year. They came with a whole bunch of Teddy Ruxpin tapes, and I sold the Teddy Ruxpin tapes very quickly for $75 on their own. I paid $5 for the lot. It was probably like 200 children's tapes. These all had names written on them. Some of them had different names on the spines of them. I certainly didn't listen to any of them. I don't know if they've been recorded over. I have no idea. I was very explicit. I was very explicit in my listing that this is what it is. But I sold them. I took an offer for 75 bucks. They'd been sitting there for quite a while, and it cost me about $4 to ship. They have, you know, I shipped media mail. They do have recording on them. They are eligible for media mail. And I knew somebody would want them.
Yeah, they're cool.
So I think I paid $5 for the total, and the last lot I sold for $75 or $100, and it was a really good lot. It took a while to sell.
I personally prefer Bedtime Bubba to Teddy Ruxpin when we're talking about talking bears. Okay.
All right.
Just saying, he's the coolest. He's got a flashlight. So there.
Sure.
So this one I have to show just because it makes Vikki mad. So we talk about how like there's certain things that like I'm able to sell, but for some reason Vikki can't get anybody to buy out of her store, and it just tells you
give them away. Seriously.
So it's just these basic Dickies mechanic jackets. You know, we can use terms like rockabilly and stuff like that because it's very much the style, the kind of rockabilly style that they like to wear. And so I have good luck with them, and I tend to sell them a lot more on Etsy. And it's funny because last week, or wait, I had sold this one, and then there was another one that I sold just this last week. So I've sold two within the last week, both on Etsy. And there's nothing special about it. It's just the style, like mechanic jacket. And let's see what I sold it for. And I sold this one for, I actually sold for $50. So I had a sale going on. And there was another one that I sold for like $54 or something like that. So I tend to sell them for around 50 bucks. And
I can't give them away for 30. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so you're like sick of them.
Yeah, I won't pick them up anymore. I'm not worth flipping.
Yeah. So I'll pick them up. I mean, I don't think they're not very exciting. Like I don't get excited.
No, but you sell every one.
But I'll pick them up when I see them because you know if it's a good price, if I'm gonna pay $5 for it, I'm happy to pay $5 and sell it for 50. So, all right, next one for you.
So this was another blanket find. I did show this in a haul video probably a month or two ago. I'm not sure. It hasn't been that long. It was just a really cool graphic, I thought. It was, you know, Peru. It was alpaca, had all these real cool things going for it. When I looked up some sales, I saw a few that had sold very inexpensively. There's one that sold for like $45, another one sold for $60. I was like, there is no way I'm selling this blanket that cheaply. I priced mine higher than everybody else's, and I still sold it for $118.97. And it sold, they didn't even make an offer. So it sold for the full sale price, which is, I always price things very high. So yeah, I haven't had any issues with it.
Mm-hmm. I like them.
It's so fast. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Next one for me is this Green Bay Packers jacket. I bought this at, speaking of Pro Player, I was just saying that about Pro Player. It has starters, like the more desired brand. But when I saw this when we were in Phoenix, it was different than any of the other ones I've seen before. It had like this, I don't even know what you call this, like ribbon, this kind of what they call it, like the ribbon that goes down that has the
accent.
repeat. Well, it's like how they do that like on
it's like step and repeat
those Kappa pants and stuff like that. Anyway, I just thought this one was really cool because it's got that all over the back, and then it's embroidered. It was just a little bit more accentuated, a little fancier.
Fancy.
So
fancy Green Bay Packers puffer coat.
Yeah, so it's a little fancier.
I don't think the word fancy
whatever
goes with Green Bay Packers.
I think it's fancy.
Coat.
Anyway, and so I priced a little higher than I normally would with the Pro Player jacket. And how long ago were we in Phoenix? A little over a month ago. So I haven't really had it up for all that long. But let's see what I sold it for. 100, and it was on sale, so it was like 125, I believe, is what it ended up being. So I sold it for $125. Not too shabby. Huh? What? All right, last one for you.
This was an Etsy sale. I've been talking about, and I've said it a couple of times on my Instagram page, but the whole Aztec, Southwestern, that look is super hot right now. It doesn't really matter what it is, doesn't matter who makes it, doesn't matter the brand. Just be real confident in the items that you purchase them and list them high. They sell very well. So this had absolutely no brand on it. It very much felt like and looked like Pendleton. I would almost bet money that it had Pendleton, but that it is Pendleton or made from a Pendleton fabrics if it wasn't made by Pendleton. But there are absolutely no tags. So I could not use the word Pendleton. So I paid about $4 for this at a thrift store, and it sold on Etsy for.
Oh, I guess I should get to work on that, huh?
Yeah, you should.
I love it though. I think it's super awesome. Let's see, what does it sell for? What?
$89.95.
What? That's crazy talk.
Naomi, I don't know if it was handmade. If it was handmade, it was made very well. It could have been handmade, but commercially, not. I don't think it was handmade, not commercially, if that makes sense, just because of the way it was lined and everything.
Yeah. All right. Last one for me is this awesome LA Dodgers satin starter jacket. This one I picked up. I feel like I might have gotten this in Arizona as well. I haven't had it for all that long. And I remember, no, you know what? You know where I got this? I got this at that Goodwill that's here in town. There's one Goodwill I like to go to. It's the only one in town where they actually have like a decent amount of jackets, and I found it there. And so I had it priced pretty high, and I actually had like a few messages from dudes on eBay that were like not cool with how much I was pricing it for, because the people like to complain and send you nasty messages yelling at you for daring to price things the way you want to price them. Haven't really had it listed for all that long. It's been maybe a couple of months. And I'm glad I waited it out because I think it's a really cool jacket, and it was on sale. So I sold it. It was about $225 is what it ended up going for. So nice. Yeah. So I had it priced at $250. I sold it for almost that much. So how about, hey guy that messaged me on eBay, why don't you go suck it? That's what I say.
Yep. F them, Greg says.
Yeah. Leave me alone, man.
Pick up your own. Pick your own prices. Know the value of your items, perceived value.
No, I get it. I definitely have stuff in my store that I have priced too high and will never sell at the price that I have it at. And I probably would be doing myself a favor if I brought some of my prices down. I get it. But it's like taking the time to like yell at somebody and be like obviously upset that somebody has dared to price their items, but they want to price mine. I mean, come on, it's a little silly.
Yeah.
And usually it means that they want to buy it from me, but they hate that it's like way more than what they're willing to spend on it.
And they can suck it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so that's it for that.
Are we going to get into our haul? Do you want to check the chat real quick and see if there are any pertinent questions?
What's going on?
That we need to address? I've been trying to look a little bit. It's been very lively today. You guys are very lively.
I know, you guys are chitty chatting it up. Let's see. Violet Lemon called you a blanket queen. Oh, our buddies Gnome and the Frog. Hello, boys. Want to know if you can send offers to likers on Etsy? No, it doesn't. They have an automated system for that. So yes and no. No, you can't manually go send offers. But what you can do is you can set up this thing where it will.
It's complicated.
They're asking a question.
Okay.
Don't shut me down just because it's too complicated.
Well, it's a whole thing. It would take a whole show to describe how to do it.
Well, now it's taking twice as long because you won't let me say it. Anyway, it's a thing where if people have favorited your items, which is how it works on Etsy, it's supposed to send them emails with coupon codes so that they can get it for a certain amount marked down. You pay like 10 cents per email that goes out. Honestly, it doesn't seem to really work that well. I think I've gotten like 2 ever.
Violet Lemon says they on Etsy work great. They've never worked for me. I don't know what the problem is with it, but they don't even send them out usually. I've created those campaigns like 3 times. It's never worked.
That's where I like don't know, because I'll go look at the numbers and it'll say like 7 were sent out, and I'm like, but I get like so many likes every single day. Like I get like I should be having like hundreds of those being sent out. So I just don't. I guess I just don't understand how it works, because it doesn't seem like it happens once every couple of months. I'll get an order and it'll be like a weird amount marked off, and I'll be like, what's that? And then I'll realize that's what it's from. So
Naomi, we're not married yet, but we are getting married. So you know, if we make it to the wedding.
Yeah, we'll get there. If you're lucky. Well, actually, you're stuck with me, so you can't get away from me. All right, you gonna start?
So G Jasso asked a question. How about people say price competitively into what the market dictates? I say F them.
Yeah.
That's not my business model.
Yeah, they're different business models, and that's okay. Like, you know, there's different markets. So if you think about it, you know, when you go to a grocery store, you can buy a candy bar for 50 cents. Or if you go to a convenience store, you're buying that same candy bar for $1. That's because it's a different market. You're paying for the convenience. Right. And so there's different things. Or, you know, you're buying a bottle of water. You know, we went to this Mexican restaurant at the casino, and the burritos there were $24 for a burrito. Is it a better burrito? No, but you're at the casino. So there's a lot of different reasons why you might price things differently. And if you want to sell fast, then you need to do lower prices, but you don't want to go too low, because then there's the perceived value issue. And so it all depends on how you want to operate.
Exactly.
And you get to decide as a seller. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So a couple more questions.
Yes.
Ocean deals. That's exactly the question that we were just answering about offers to watchers. You can't do that on Etsy. It's not the same type of thing. And hello, Paula, from another Rhode Island girl. Hello. So let's get into our.
Yeah, Paul, bring it on.
All right. What you got? You want me to go first?
She's saying that she's got her hands on the cookie jar, guys. No, she's literally sitting there holding this thing and asking me what I have. I think you're ready.
It is a cookie jar.
I know, right? Literally.
It is a cookie jar. So this is a vintage cookie jar. It's a fairly common one, but for whatever reason, it sells really well. It's from the 50s. I've sold this jar for about $75 to $100 every time. I paid $15 for it. I did pay up for it at a garage sale. So someone had a lot of vintage items and they had them priced really high. $15 normally is not that high to you know, trade it in for $75 to $100. So it's in good shape. It has some crazing, which is normal for a cookie jar of this age. And I'll sell it, you know, it'll sell for $75 to $100. It does every time I've sold it probably a dozen times.
I feel like you've actually had it as in a haul on the show before, like a year ago.
I may have.
A year ago, because I reckon it, because it's like a little walnut, right?
Yep.
I feel like I recognize it. So anyway, all right.
Another thing, I paid up for these quite a bit, actually. I paid they were $25. So, and it was 25% off day. So I paid almost $20.
Anybody want to get back to their emo roots?
Yep. So these are vintage Hot Topic queen size sheets, but it's Skull and Dagger queen size sheets. Hot Topic doesn't sell sheets anymore. They haven't sold them in a while. I don't really know how long. I think these are from 2000 based on the coding I see on the employee sales, like the the company sales ticket on price on it. They sold for $44 then. I'm probably going to sell them for about $100 just because of what they are. I think they're really, really cool. I think they're a really cool graphic. I know some emo person's going to want them. You know what I thought was pretty funny, and Katie and I both noticed this. It's a queen size set of sheets. So fitted sheet, flat sheet, one pillowcase. Do they just assume that people that sleep
trying to be a loner, man? You gotta have your like
the emo people sleep alone.
Yeah. Emo goth kids sleep alone, man.
Yep. So that was pretty funny. And then the other thing that I picked up is this I paid $2 for at a garage sale. I was actually kind of surprised. So this is vintage late 50s. This is Art Deco. So people talk about what is Art Deco. Art Deco usually has the lines down it. So this is what would be Art Deco era. This is a pink Big Ben alarm clock. It's West Clocks. It's called a Moonbeam clock. It does work. It has a light. It lights up. It's this Pepto-Bismol pink. Super mid-century Art Deco, mid-century modern Art Deco. This will sell for about $75. I've sold the off-white one for $50 just recently. So I'm pricing this one higher. There are a few on eBay. I think they're underpriced. I'm going to price it higher, and I'm also going to sell it, put it on Etsy. I will probably sell it on Etsy.
Nice. Yeah, Allison doesn't Dan with those sheets. She probably would. Better not let her see them.
I don't know. She's not watching today.
Yeah, and then Thrift Raider says those sheets are amazing. Goth people need sheets too.
They do, absolutely.
It's true.
And I will sell them to them.
Speaking of sheets, I was really excited because it's getting chilly here, and so we got to switch over to the flannel sheets, which are so cozy.
I don't want to get out of bed.
They're so cozy and warm. All right. Is it my turn?
Your turn.
Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm going to move these so nothing breaks while I'm.
All right. So I did some sourcing. I did my normal Savers run on Thursday. Went to Buffalo Exchange, but I also did some online sourcing. Sometimes when I'm kind of jonesing for some cool stuff, I'll go and troll Mercari and stuff like that and see if I can find some cool T-shirts and eBay. So I bought a few things, one-offs off of Mercari, off of eBay. I actually just bought I bid on a T-shirt lot today that I won on eBay, so I'm excited about that. And I have a bulk buy that I had ordered from Jen Goodell, who had sold to me before. I talked about it, and I don't know if she's in the chat or not. I haven't seen her.
I think she was earlier.
I bought from her before, and she just sent me another big box of stuff that I bought from her, and it came early, but I'm going to save that for next week because I haven't been able to process it and go through it at all. But anyway, so I've been trying to do more bulk buys and stuff like that, kind of expand my sourcing a little bit. But I got some really cool stuff. This is a T-shirt I got on eBay. So I think I paid around like $10 for it. You know how I feel about my skiing T-shirts. I think this one it's like it was ridiculous pink, kind of matches your hair. Don't worry, it's been washed. Matches your hair. And but this is from the date on it. The date on it is 1987. But it's pretty crispy, and I love it.
I washed it. It's not new.
I love it. Well, not wash. Sorry, I actually didn't wash it. I sprayed it and.
Oh, and you just put it near my hair. Man.
But anyway, it's in really nice condition for an 80s T-shirt. Colorado skiing. But I think that's pretty fabulous. So I'll price it at like $47.99 and hope to sell it for $40. This is one that I got off of Mercari. Again, I think I spent around like $10-12 on it. This one's like got that really soft, thin, vintage material feel. It's like super worn, single stitch, but it's fantabulous. Surf Club Heat Wave Beach. Look at those colors. Look crazy. Look at that design. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's really big too, which is pretty cool because a lot of times with vintage T-shirts, you're going to find a lot of smaller ones. You'll find like a large, but it'll measure like 18 inches across the chest if you're lucky. A lot of times with the vintage stuff. So this is actually a pretty, I don't know, I'd probably say this is like good a 2X probably.
Yeah.
So for a nice vintage piece like that, it's always good to find something a little bit like that.
I saw somebody said Candace had a question. Candace, repeat your question, hun, because the chat has gone too far back.
It goes too fast.
Oh, okay. eBay has again changed the details. My plus sizes are non-existent. If I input my sizes, will it still show up in search? I wish I had an answer for
hard
you.
to say.
I don't know, honey. All I know is that I've had to change every single listing. So I feel your pain. I don't think that they've answered us properly on what's happening and how it's being fixed. I don't think they know. I think whatever happened created such a cluster F across the whole website that they don't know how to fix it. And they're just trying to patch what they possibly can right now. I really think that's what's happening. There's a whole lot of scrambling going on and nobody has correct information. So all I can say is you need to take control of your own business and not wait for eBay to fix anything, because I don't think they're going to. I think they fixed what they can, and I don't think they're able to or willing to fix more. So what you're talking about, I would say just definitely put your title in the body of your description. Put your size in the body of your description. Put it in your title. Put it in your item details if you're able to. Go in and put it in any way that you can. It'll get picked up somehow. The only way that it's not getting picked up is if people go and dial down the search on the left-hand column.
Yeah.
That's where the issues were. So if they say they put in women's 3X blouse, and then they end up with 7,000 listings, and then they go on the left-hand side and they dial it down and try to put in, click off 3X, and they may not find you that way. I think that's where the problem is lying. And I don't know that it has been fixed or will be fixed.
See, and Jessica says that eBay reimbursed her premium store fees for September and October. And that's another thing that's frustrating, which I'm super happy that you were able to get that done. We haven't reached out to try to get anything like that yet, but we've been hearing so many stories about like somebody getting 1 store or 1 month reimbursed to them, or being told that nobody's getting it. And it's just been all over the place. And I know I saw earlier that Allison mentioned something about calling eBay twice, and like whoever she talked to didn't have any idea, didn't know anything about the eBay for Business page and what they were saying, and that basically nothing's being fixed and you have to go do it yourself. And so again, the information coming out is going in circles and circles and circles. And there were there were the 3 things that were happening before that all happened at the same time: the item specifics, the managed payments, and the little sales graph was all screwed up. So those 3 things all happened at the exact same time. Another thing that's happening is the sales. Like, has anyone else been having the issue where I have my sales end at noon, and it'll be 6, 7, 8, 10 hours later, and it will not have ended my sales. They'll still be showing items that, with the sale price. And when you go look at your markdown manager, it shows all those sales as processing, like it hasn't even started, but obviously they were going for the days that they were set to. And so 10 hours later, I ended up having to go to bed the other night. I woke up in the morning before I could start a new sale. And who knows how many hours everything was off sale.
All I know is that I have not requested a credit yet. I intend to, and I fully intend to get one. And I don't care how far up the ladder I have to go to get one, but I'm going to get one. And I expect more than a credit for my store fee for 1 month. I'll tell you that right now. I've put in about 80 hours so far in the last 2 weeks fixing things, and I have another 20 or so to go, plus my sales are down. I expect to be compensated. And I pay $300 a month in store fees. I pay $1,500 a month in general. So I'm going to get compensated for something. I'll tell you that. I'm just not going to blow up on anybody yet.
All right, let's get back to amazing t-shirts though, because I have a doozy right here. I've got a doozy. I found this one at Buffalo Exchange. Wait till you see this one. I love it. All over print, tie-dye, Ocean Pacific, single stitch, beautiful, magical, lovely, vibrant colors.
I like it enough.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's awesome. All over print right now is just
on fire.
It's on fuego. I don't know. Why did I just say that?
And
I hate myself. I hate myself right now because I said that. But anyway, I think this is just a fantastic shirt right now. Great surfing kind of shirt. And I love the old school Ocean Pacific stuff like this. Again, great size. This is like a 2XL right here, guys. And this one, I'm going to try to sell this puppy for like $100. I just listed it today. $100. I'm going to see if I can get a hundy out of this. What do you think?
Sure.
Maybe I can.
Maybe.
Come on. It's good size. Good size. Anyway, Jennifer says that she wore this. Woo, woo, woo. Anyway, love that. I actually only have one t-shirt left. So I'm just going to show it real quick. I always like the airline stuff. This is Northwest Airlines. It's actually for the Boeing 747-400 series. It says first to fly because Northwest Airlines was the first to fly the Boeing 747. Just a cool vintage tee, Screen Stars tag, late 80s, early 90s. Pretty awesome. That plane started like, I think it's like late 80s. So anyway, beauty. That's it. What you got?
That's it. That's what you got. All right. So what did I get? I picked I was trying to do a little bit outside my comfort zone. I don't know that anything's really outside my comfort zone, but more things that I, have not picked up lately. So one of the things I picked up, I paid $10 for these. I got these brass cat bookends. I think they're actually really cute. They're vintage. They're from the 70s. The company's from the 70s. It's like a brass plate. It's actually not solid brass. But they're real cute bookends. And they're, they've got the felt on the bottom. They are actually really cute. So this brand sells pretty well for bookends. They tend to sell for around the $50 range. I'm going to price these at least $75 to $100 just because they're cats. I think they're far better subject matter. And I haven't seen any cats in it either sold or listed. So I think I'm going to price them high because I think they're pretty well done and they're nice looking. And I'm not even a cat fan, but I think they're pretty cool.
Indeed.
So I paid, what did I pay? $7.50. They were $10 and I had 25% off. The other thing I picked up is I paid about $5 for this. This is a vintage 1994 Thomas the Tank engine. It's a music box. It's Schmid, which is a nice music box. I haven't priced this out yet, but I paid about $4 to $5 for it, and I think I'll probably sell it for around $50. The train, it is cute. The train does not move. There's nothing wrong with it. It works perfectly. It's in perfect condition. The train does not move. It looks like it would, but it doesn't.
So Justin Packman, what's up, Justin? Wants to know, how do you know the brand is? I think he's talking about the cats.
They are on the back. They're not signed, but there is a stamp on the back. It's an etched stamp. It's SCC. Can you see that?
Yep.
So I just did a quick lookup of SCC bookends.
Very, very nice.
Let's see. So another thing I picked up, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably did see this. I only brought up a few of the pieces, but I picked up about 30 pieces of this China set. It's a Lefton, Lefton, Lefton China, and it's holly berries. It's Christmas. It's a Christmas set. So I got the teapot, some actually 8 dessert plates, 8 dinner plates, the teapot, the sugar and creamer set, a couple of little accessory plates and things like that. One of the pieces I picked up is right here. I did bring up another one. I don't know what Katy did with it. I thought I brought it.
What was it?
I brought this. I got this as well. This is just a candle holder. This is a hurricane candle. It's made to look like a hurricane lantern, but it's just like a candle holder.
That's really cool.
It has a luster on it, so it's kind of like, some of them they look like they're dirty. They're not. But I've listed, I haven't listed them yet, but I did take photos. Oh, and it's like cut out as like a Christmas tree on the side. Get it?
Very cute.
It's made to look like a lantern, but it's not. That's just ceramic. They're all in really great shape. It's like 2 pieces have tiny flea bite chips, but they're in good shape for what they are. The most expensive, there's a lot of pieces, a lot of little pieces sell here and there, but a lot of the pieces that I have seem to be fairly rare. So I'm kind of excited about that. So I paid $20 or $22 total for about 25 pieces. I think I'll probably get around $300 or a little bit more out of all of it once I sell them. What's it? Let me see.
So I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Siggy Lamp? Do you sell off of Instagram? I'm trying to. I had my first sale last week. Vikki doesn't really. I mean, I'm sure there's been a couple times when somebody has seen something she had, I think, and bought it from her, but it's not like that's not her main goal with Instagram. But I have an Instagram account just for my store, and that one I'm trying to build up a following to be able to actually sell directly on there, which I would like to be able to do. Do you have more?
That's all I brought up for, the hard goods.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do you want me to show a couple things?
Sure. I had brought up another piece, I thought. I don't know what the heck happened to it.
I didn't see it. I brought everything that was down there.
Okay.
Okay, so another thing I bought on eBay is it was a 2 sweatshirt lot. And I think I ended up paying, it was like $30. And I was kind of thinking when I was looking if I wanted to buy it or not. I was like, if I saw these at Buffalo Exchange and they were priced at $15 a piece, would I buy them? And I was like, yeah, I totally would. So I was like, I'm gonna get these. They're pretty cool. So they're both the same sweatshirt, but one is a small, one is a large. But they're really cool. I don't know exactly what this was from or what this is all about, but it's a Pepsi balloon crew. It's got Pepsi and Diet Pepsi on it, and it's like little hot air balloons. So this one's a large, and then there's this one, which is a small, so it's pretty small. But they're super cute.
They're cute.
They're Fruit of the Loom. So I actually think these are like late 80s. Based on the design of them. And this Fruit of the Loom tag, you will see it on some late 80s stuff. It tends to be more 90s, but I'm going to go ahead and say this is the 80s, late 80s. I could be wrong, but you know what? There's no vintage police. They're coming after me, knocking down the door like they're going to at this one over here for pretending to be Victoria Smith using her M-Life card. Just saying. You go into jail.
Larry, no, you cannot use the free priority boxes to do first class international. It would have to be priority international. Yeah, same as.
Yeah, no, because they're all, sorry, ignore me. But yeah, pretty much all the free shipping boxes are priority, so you're going to get charged priority international.
Naomi, I'm going to break up those pieces. I'm not selling everything together. I'm selling the 8 dinner plates together. I'm selling the 8 dessert plates together. And then the rest of the pieces I'm selling individually. I am selling the teapot and the sugar and creamer, 2 cups and 2 saucers together. So that as kind of a set. And that's it. I'm going to sell everything else separately.
Yeah. So I bought this at Buffalo Exchange, and I love this kind of stuff. This is Detroit Tigers 1987. And this is actually the American League Eastern Division champions. I don't know if you're like a big fan of like the team. Do you want to wear the sweatshirt of like, because they won this particular division, but then they lost to the in the American League.
It's the Detroit Lions. They lose to
Detroit Tigers.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say they lose.
No, but it's like they were the champions for like this was the Eastern Division, and then when they went against whatever team it was for the American League, they lost. So they didn't even make it to like the playoff before the Super Bowl, before the World Series. It's baseball. Anyway, but I think it's in great condition. 1987. Just a really nice condition sweatshirt. This is one of, just to show you another brand of tag. This is Trench. You'll see this a lot on T-shirts. I see it more on T-shirts than I do on sweatshirts, but I can't see it focus. It's
close enough.
Get in there. Anyway, just a really nice sweatshirt. I'm going to try to sell this for, we'll say 70 to 100. We'll see. It'll probably most likely sell on Etsy before it will on eBay. And we'll do one more sweatshirt here.
Chris Bradley's a real friend there. See, she said she'll post bond for me if I get arrested for borrowing Victoria's M-Life card.
Okay, that's good.
For parking.
Even though I ratted you out. Yeah, okay. So this isn't vintage. But I just thought it was interesting because this is just a Nike sweatshirt, but it's, as you can see, it's Michael Jordan and Spike Lee. It's kind of a funny graphic. But I didn't see like a lot available. I've seen like one that sold for too little, I think. But most of the sites I was seeing it on were European sites. And this is just a cool sweatshirt. It's got some stuff on the back there, but it's not, like I said, it's not vintage, but from a streetwear perspective, it's just a cool sweatshirt. I'm going to see if I can get like $40 off of this. Like I said, I wouldn't normally grab a non-vintage Jordan sweatshirt.
I think you can get at least 40 for that.
I think I can get $40 for it, just from the streetwear perspective. It's nice. The color, the heather gray, is very popular. And like I said, not a lot available. It's not like you could just go. I think there's T-shirts, but there's not like a bunch of these available. So, yeah, go ahead.
All right, on to the clothes for me. One thing I picked up, I paid, so it was $10.99, and I got 25% off. Was this vintage Tommy, and again, I don't buy all Tommy Hilfiger because I think a lot of it has definitely slowed down as far as popularity.
Yeah.
But this is a nice vintage men's color blocked robe. It's a cotton robe. It has its, it's self belted.
Yeah, well, it's got the giant flag on it.
It's got the giant flag on the front. I think it's new without tags. I can't swear by it, so I won't be putting that, but I will say I don't think it's been worn. It has all the original folds in the belt and everything. So you know how you can tell when a belt hasn't been undone and it's got that original knot in it. And that's what we're looking at there. So I think I'm gonna list it for about $100.
I think Ryan's gonna be super jealous of it. I wonder if he has one.
Probably not. Ryan should hit me up. I'll give him a discount. Okay, so a couple things. I don't know why. I think I was wasting time. I was looking in the in like the aisle with where the leggings are, women's leggings. I don't do that. I'm not scouring for Lululemon all the time, so I hardly ever look in those aisles. But I did pick these up because they were they felt good, so they felt like they were good quality, and so I had extra time, so I was looking them up. So here's a pair of leggings. Like, look at these things, right? With the heart on the butt, and they're stretchy. I mean, they're kind of ridiculous, but I can picture somebody wearing them. So Cute Booty. So I just wanted to show a couple of names that I would not have known of before. So this is the brand, Cute Booty. I paid, it was 25% off of $5.50, and these will sell for like $50. I want to say these are also new without tags. They feel new without tags. They're kind of crispy. I don't understand. Well, you know, super skinny young girls with little tiny butts.
If I saw somebody wearing that, though, I'd be like, I'd be like, thanks for advertising. Why I don't want to hang out with
you. I'm not saying that I could fit half my ass in there, but you know. The other brand that was there that I looked up is called
Do you need your readers?
Yeah. Violate. Sorry, Violate. So these are the same thing. It's really nicely made leggings.
Those are cute.
These I actually paid a little bit more for. These I paid about $8 for. I think I can sell these for like $50. I also really like the plaid on them.
Yeah, those are a lot cuter.
And then same store. I saw this out of the corner of my eye. And I paid just over $2 for it. So I saw this out of the corner of my eye hanging on the men's scarves, and yep, got a little vintage Pendleton there.
Once you get to know Pendleton, you can see a Pendleton
spot
plaid
it from across the room. So I paid about $2 for this. Again, not super valuable, but I'll probably list it for 40 or 50.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's kind of scratchy. I don't know who wants this around their neck, but
yeah.
Let's see.
Here you go.
Speaking of Tommy, I didn't have a lot of luck with garage sales yesterday, but I did grab one real nice piece that I think Katy would be jealous of and was jealous of. Vintage, made in the USA, Tommy Hilfiger.
Nice.
Spell out big black crew neck sweatshirt. And I paid $4 for this. I'm going to list it for about $100.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
And then the other one I picked up, this one's going to need a lot of soaking. This is just a vintage Russell Athletic tag. You can tell because the R is made up of the eagle, and it's also it's made in Mexico. So this is 90s. But it has some staining on the front, so I've got to soak this one and try it. But it's a nice embroidered USA crew neck sweatshirt. I'll probably sell this for about $40 if I can get the stains out. If not, it's going to be redonated. You can go now.
Greg Dupage Piquer has yet to find his first Pendleton.
Ooh.
I'm very sorry about that. I'm very sorry to hear that. All right, so
one couple questions there. Let me just go backwards and just say somebody had asked, can they send me?
And she was talking about it in the chat. But yeah, anytime, Sherry, anytime you have a question for either of us, go ahead and send us my email.
Always send a message through through Katy's email, or send me a message through Instagram or anything like that. I may not have an answer for you, but I'm happy to look. I get dozens of questions a day.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so here's the other sweatshirt that I found at Buffalo Exchange, and I love it. I love it. I love it. This is a Taekwondo Olympic sports And this one is very crispy. You can see the graphic on it is like just perfect. I would say based on this tag though, this is 90s. Like looking at the graphic, you know, you're like, oh, is that 80s, 90s, what? But this tag right here, this Fruitaloom, it's made in the
very Karate Kid.
Yeah, made in the USA. But this is a 90s tag. This is not 80s at all. So this is a 90s sweatshirt, but it's fantastic. The graphics is really, really super cool. I already listed it. I don't remember what I listed it for, but I love it. I think I was hoping to get like 70 out of it, just because it's a very cool sweatshirt. Now this next item, speaking of Vikki making me jealous with that sweatshirt, she was jealous when she saw me when I showed this to her.
For sure.
Because this is fantastic.
The only item that you've purchased in the last several weeks that I like really am jealous of.
I know, because it's much more your style, but I do pick this kind of stuff up when I see it. I just don't see it as much. This is a hand knit, amazing Christmas holiday sweater hoodie, zip up hoodie. I love it. What would we decide? It was like probably 70s, maybe 80s. Yeah. So I think I already listed it, and I believe I said 70s, 80s. So again, people have asked how important is it to know what the date was when it was made. Sometimes you're not going to be completely sure, and there's nothing wrong with saying 70s, 80s. Mm-hmm. Might be 70s, might be 80s.
Oh, Candace, what size is the Tommy sweatshirt? I don't know, honey. Oh, large.
Yeah,
large. So, and it's a little oversized, but it's a large.
Yeah. But anyway, this is very nice condition, very well made. Just like a really awesome Christmas sweater. I think I priced it up pretty high because it's really nice. Such great condition. I don't know. I might have to like wear it for some Christmas photos. But
that's possible.
Yeah.
We have not done our Christmas photos yet.
That's true.
We have to decide on our topic.
Yes, we do. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I love it. I love it.
Right? See, Allison, I knew Allison would like it. She's like, if I wasn't already dying, that sweater would have me dying.
What would you tell people as far as you're much better at identifying age based? I mean, this is handmade, so it doesn't have any tags in it. So what do you look at that helps you to determine the age of something?
For me, it's going to be style, construction. In this case, it's it's plastic zippers. I don't know how to describe it. It's one of those things I don't know how to describe. These big fat plastic zippers were very 70s into the early 80s. They were still using a lot of metal zippers in through the 50s and the 60s. Started switching over in the 60s, but most stuff was still metal. I don't know how else to describe this. This looks like it probably came from somebody's knitting. They bought a kit and then they bought a pattern book or something like that, and they probably made these for the whole family. Too bad you didn't find a bunch.
I know. I think it's fabulous. Anyway, I was pretty excited about that. Luke says I should keep up my Instagram posts. Says they're awesome. Thanks, Luke. All right. I only have one more item. And then what do you have? A bunch of clothes?
Yeah, I have a few more.
All right. I have one more item. So I got this at Buffalo Exchange as well. They had it priced at $18, and I was like, what? Who's been smoking? Because it was very affordable. I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and buy that. This is, it's just the style is an MA1 flight like bomber jacket. That's the style of this particular bomber jacket. The brand, I don't even know. It's M Tramp. It doesn't really matter. But this is, you can see right there, it is Operation Iraqi Freedom, Coalition Forces. And then you see the back, it's all embroidered really big. It's got the map and everything. So this particular jacket, I found some comps. I looked up based on the brand of the jacket, and it's like people have been selling these. I saw them sold for like $30 and stuff like that. And I'm like, are you nuts? But this is where something like looking at Terra Peak and looking at even Worth Point. At Worth Point, I found a couple of them. And the ones I found at Worth Point had sold for like $125 in the last couple of years. And so the value really is there. Is this going to fly off the shelf? No, probably not. This is like, it's a very specific piece. But there's a lot more value to this than like $30. So I intend to sell this for, I would hope like $125, $150 for this jacket. It's just a really, really cool jacket. just not something to be like thrown away for 20, 30 bucks.
So Luke asked, on average, how many items per week have you been sourcing on your own versus ordering from wholesale contacts? Well, I can speak for myself. I don't have any wholesale contacts. I don't buy wholesale. Katy will buy from specific sellers that she knows that reach out to her here and there. But even that, most of it is individual sourcing.
Yeah. So yeah, Luke. So I'm trying to do more of that. So I do have, like I was saying, Jen, who's in the chat. She's this is now the second time that she's sent me like a big box of stuff. So I hope that that continues because she has a good eye for it. Apparently, where she lives, all they have is vintage Champion reverse weave sweatshirts. So I'm pretty into that. I don't know what the deal is, but I've got some cool stuff from her. So I'd love to keep doing that. And then, you know, and then I've got Derek and I want to get more into the wholesale stuff. So, you know, it's hard to find steady wholesale bulk buys from one source that you can rely on. That's like the challenge that I have come into. And so I'm still working on that. And I've talked to Luke individually about going to California to that warehouse with.
I've only done one bulk buy, and it was just last week I did a video.
So yeah, so if we go at the beginning of the year to see Deb and Mel, and Deb and I go to that warehouse again, if that works out well for me, I would do that on a regular basis, because I really need to have like a more steady source. So
of course we need to actually have some Q4 money to go and do a big buy like that. But anyway,
through that.
So I picked this up at an estate sale. It was one of my only buys yesterday, and no, it's not Bob Mackie wearable art. It's even more hideously fantastic than that. This is a serious 80s vibe here. I'm going to get this listed because somebody might want this for Thanksgiving. I think it's like a turkey totem pole, Native American type thing. There's a headdress on the back. It is a dress. It's just a basic sleeveless dress underneath with this crazy jacket on top. It is the epitome of 80s hideousness, which means that it will sell. And I'll probably price that for about between $60 and $100, and know that I'll probably get about 60. Yeah, Karen, those are my words too. No words really.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about more 80s, this is late 80s. I picked up not one blinged out denim jacket, but two. The same brand. The brand is called, sorry.
Poke my eye out.
Sorry. The brand is called Freego. Can you see that? It's got a big tag inside. Freego. I paid, you can see the tag there, $9.49, and they were 25% off. Some people price these too low, and they sell them like anything else. They sell them for like $30 when they really should be selling them for more. I'll probably get about $75 each for those. So
yeah. So Josh wants to know how the sourcing was in Phoenix. Actually, I really like going to Phoenix. And both times we've gone, we have jam-packed the car full of stuff. So we definitely like going there for a weekend trip. And I don't feel like we came even close to hitting everything that was there. Part of the problem is it's so spread out geographically. So they have like 7 Savers, you know, there's a million Goodwills. There's so much opportunity to go thrifting there, but you kind of need like a good, I don't know, 3 or 4 probably full days if you wanted to try and actually hit every spot. But yeah, but for anyone that's living there, the thrifting's good.
Yeah,
there's good stuff.
Okay, so I picked this up. This is actually new old stock vintage 70s. The tag is still on there. Here's my tag here. It's just like a Western. It's got this crazy like faux suede with, I don't know, wool Western yoke. It's like a wool tweed Western yoke, and it's a men's jacket, and Pagano West. I don't think that really makes much of a difference, but it's a size 42 long, which is a good size, and I paid $7.50 for it. I'll probably sell it for about $75 to $100.
Very nice, very nice. So Deanna says that she just got a stain out of a vintage shirt by boiling it on the stove, and then she says, with Biz in the water, what's Biz? Do you know
I have
what Biz
no idea.
is? What is Biz? I need to know, because if there's a possibility, because sometimes, you know, I've gotten pretty good with my stain removal, but sometimes there are those ones that are kind of stubborn, and they're like, yeah, we're not coming out, man. So I would try boiling it. I probably would find our finest soup pot, and then Vikki would come in, she'd start yelling at me because I'd be like stirring my soup, my boiled T-shirt soup
with BO in a pot that we cook food in. No.
Anyway, tell me what. Oh, so Biz is a brand. What is it? Is it powder? Is it like? Let me know. I need to know.
Laundry detergent.
Just laundry detergent. Okay.
Okay. So, yes, Kara asked what I call that jacket. The Western type of jacket, I would use the keyword as rockabilly for that. Absolutely. And then lastly, I just wanted to talk about, this is the time of year when you should really be looking at sweaters. I think we already know that. It's sweater weather, right? Sweaters sell really well, but not just any sweater, not just any brand. Wool sweaters specifically tend to really hold their value and sell for a solid $40 to $50 every time. So again, this is not all about the brands, but I've got some real heavy wool sweaters with the nice brass buttons, women's sweaters. I'll sell these for $40 to $50, and I paid $7.50, but it's something that churns over pretty fast. This one I may sell even higher. I haven't looked this brand up yet, but it was made in England, and you can tell the quality. It's really, really thick and very nicely made. So maybe $50 on that one. This is one that looks like it may have been handmade. There are no tags anywhere on this. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't looked this up yet either. This looks like the namaste, like the Om symbol or something like that. So this is a really heavy, chunky knit. I think this one's probably 90s-ish. It gives me very much a grunge vibe. And I think I'm going to list this one as men's.
What about Derek Yamamoto trying to crash the house here with his meowing, trolling the channel? So rude.
So this particular one I paid $4 for. I think I'm going to list that for about $60, $75 or so. And then I hit a garage sale.
Sorry, real quick. Naomi wants to know, how can you tell the year on that by the tag?
The year on what?
Which one?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
It didn't have tags.
Okay, so let us know what piece you're talking about, and so she can explain.
Yeah, so Violet Lemon says yoga sweater. That's what the I didn't look it up, but that was what the image that came to mind was, like the Om symbol, yoga, something like that. So that's exactly what I was thinking when I saw it. Again, I could look it up. When I'm looking at when I'm talking about these things, I haven't done any research on anything before I show it to you in my haul. So it is Om. Okay, I was correct. So there you go. So maybe more. I don't know. I'll look it up and see if I can get any more money for it than that.
Yeah, those own people have some money to spend.
Now, the other thing that we did hit a garage sale yesterday where I paid up a little bit. I paid $30 for 4 pieces of clothing, but they were all really nice Eileen Fisher. Again, I've talked about this brand. Really nice Eileen Fisher pieces. Why is it not focusing? There we go. But this is a nice wool like cardigan, blazer, jacket, sweater thing. It's it's a 1-button sweater. So I'll probably price that for at least $75.
Sorry, I'm laughing at I'm laughing at Rick. Rick says it's Hindu for moist.
Thanks, Rick. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's my stuff. Let me see. Somebody asked a question. You know anything with the yellowing out of vintage leather sneakers? Yellowing, you mean on the sole, like the white part, the white part of the sole, because that stuff never comes off. Once the plastic has oxidized and changed color, it's nearly impossible to get that yellowing out on anything. If that's what you mean. If it's on, you mean on the leather itself or on the fabric itself, that stuff you can treat. But once it's on the sole of something and it's along the edges usually, and it turns yellow, it's usually from the glue or oxidization of the plastic or the rubber, that doesn't come out.
Yeah. I keep seeing like these ads on Instagram showing like dirty shoes being scrubbed with like this stuff that like lathers up. And I'm like, it's probably a lie. I don't believe it. But they look really good. And it makes me want to try it. But I don't do used shoes really, so there's no point. Yeah. All right, guys, that's everything. That's everything that's all the highlights anyway, the stuff that we sourced.
Oh, then Naomi asked, what about the jacket? How could I tell the era of the jacket by the tag? It's just, I can tell by looking at tags, how old something is, both based on tags and style.
It's a little bit of a complex multi-layered issue that it's like you learn over time, and it's hard to just give like an exact answer to that question. Yeah.
How do you clean a vintage wool jacket? I would dry clean it, or I would spot clean it with a rag and maybe like some Dawn dish detergent or something very mild that you can easily rinse out and just air dry.
Yeah. Or if it's like in really rough shape and it's kind of like either you get it cleaned or you can't sell it, then you can try the old woolite soakage.
Yeah, I've done that too.
But you gotta be careful, obviously, because you don't want to ruin it. But if it's like, if it's kind of like your last resort, then you might as well try it.
So Nate asked, adult toys found in bulk, can we list them? If they're new in package, yes, but you have to list them in the adult section on eBay. And depending on what it is, they don't sell as well as they used to, because the market is saturated. You can get them anywhere and everywhere very inexpensively. So, but yes, you can sell them. You have to sell them on the adult section. It is not easy to find the adults only section on eBay. So it is difficult for a reason to get there and to sell the items. If I were you, I would open up a small second store if you find that they're worth selling, and sell them under a small second store, because you don't necessarily want to mix those products. I do it. I have a second store. I haven't listed anything in it in well over a year, but I have a second store for that reason. I have sold X-rated items and adult items, and that's what I use it for specifically.
You're dirty. Thought you cleaned up your act.
Yep.
Nature Girl 2110. So if it's wool and it's not stained, she says it smells like a thrift store. I mean, honestly, I would just I would spray it with like some what do you call it, fabric stuff, whatever, and like put it out in the sun if you can. I mean, and see if you can get it to. I wouldn't necessarily try. I mean, if it's just the smell, and same with smoke smells, Luke. There's different stuff that you can get. But sometimes it's just a matter of like spraying it with some
Febreze is pretty gross, but if you spray it and then stick it outside, it's not that bad.
Yeah, don't spray it like too liberally necessarily,
because it does smell nasty. And it gives me a headache.
You can also water it down so it's not so strong, and just spray it and then put it outside for a while and see if that will help, because a lot of times that will help a lot.
And then there's another question. Canine Thrifter, is Bonanza worth doing if not a lot of sales? Been on it for 2 weeks at nada. Well, if you're looking for a lot of sales, Bonanza is not your platform. I don't know about what you mean by worth it, because Bonanza is free and easy and automatically populates your items over. So, I mean, for me, I think it's worth it. I've been on the platform for 10 years. You do nothing with it. It ends your sale. It's not worth paying for it. No, I don't pay anything for it. I use the free version, and I sell about 10 items a year, maybe. And I've been on it for 10 years. So it's not gonna, but it doesn't cost me anything, and it auto populates your items over from eBay, and it ends your item once it sells on their platform. I know people have talked about having issues with it. I never have.
Yeah. I don't use it. Allison says Casey wants to know what the name of your second store is.
It's not, there's nothing in it, Casey.
Casey's dirty too. That's what I hear. That's what I'm hearing from that. All right. Awesome. So this was kind of a shorter show. We didn't have as much stuff to show. But anyway, thanks guys so much. We're going to wrap it up now. And I don't know, maybe you're going to take a little nappy nap or something.
No, I have pictures to take. Jen, I've been asked a few times. We've both been asked a few times to do a video on tags and tips for telling vintage. It's not something that is teachable. I have to be honest with you. Teaching, and even in a series of videos, we do it every week a little bit here and there, and that's kind of the best you can do with teaching vintage. It's not something that's teachable because you can't replicate it. You can't replicate finding the items out in the wild in order for you to teach someone what era something comes from. It's something you can pick up over time of just absorbing yourself in doing it. Yeah. So I will do another vintage video that I've done. I'm hoping to buy more from her when she gathers up more items. We're trying to work that out now. But it won't be, I have to have enough items to do a pure vintage haul. I did get a great reaction, so I appreciate you guys for that. I will do another one when I have enough items, and hopefully you can pick up a little bit from things like that. I'm not the only one that does videos like that. So
you learn from tags, and like I talk about T-shirts, and that's why I always try to say this tag, late 80s, early 90s, or this is from the early 80s. Like I do that when I show like T-shirts and just over
specifically
time.
for your vintage stuff like that. But vintage that I sell,
Right.
the vintage type of women's clothing, you're
Sure.
not going to find more than one item with that tag or by that brand.
Right.
That's the thing.
Absolutely.
So it's, you need to learn styles and fabrics and the type of stitching that is used and the type of outlines. And really, as Noelle says, Pinterest is great for that, because you can actually just put yourself down a rabbit hole and look for vintage 40s fashion, vintage 50s, vintage 60s, vintage 70s, vintage 80s, and you can just kind of absorb the information as much as possible. That's the best that you can do.
It really takes more hands-on and like time, because even with the T-shirts, like what I was saying, if I can take a blank T-shirt that has the tag ripped out of it or cut out of it, and I can still figure out what I can generally tell if it's an 80s T-shirt, even 70s or 90s, based on the construction of the T-shirt. But it's not really something, it's hard, you can't really see it over a camera. It's like you need to have it and feel it and see it enough times to where you just know. And it's virtually impossible to teach that. So you really just need to like get out there and actually do it and learn over time.
Pretty much it. That's pretty much it. It's kind of one of those things that are hard to describe and break into a show. I would if I could. It's not that I'm trying to be lazy and say we can't. We've talked about it many times. It's just really hard to create content to do that. So
it is. All right, so let's wrap it up, and I guess we'll see you guys on Wednesday if you want to come hang out for our Boss Up and List show on Wednesday. Go have some fun, guys. Maybe get some work done. Maybe take a little Sunday afternoon nap. Maybe go get yourself a little snack. We got something cooking in the old crock pot, a little slow cooker that you put in this morning. So I'm pretty excited about that later tonight. Maybe I need a little snack right now. I could use a little something to eat while I get back to listing.
All right.
What do you think about that?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. We always have fun chatting up with all you guys. You're awesome.